There we are. There we are.
Hey,
What's
man.
good, brother?
Did we get it all worked out? Yeah. Looks like we're live.
We are live. You get to see my buddy Nova here today. We are
fading
lagging
in and out.
on the camera side. Pretty bad, but welcome all. What's good today? Heritov's in here. We got Tune Fed. We got Jameis. If this camera, I mean, honestly, Dags, I'm like 5 seconds behind, it looks like. Potentially, I might turn off the camera. I don't know. If it's annoying, you guys back home, let me know. But regardless, we're here and ready to go. Camera or not, your camera looks great. You're looking good today, brother. How are you?
I'm all right. Got my kids yelling in the background. I might mute in and out, or I just might let it go. I could just be the DFK dad, so I'm not going to hide my kids, right?
Right.
Good morning to everyone watching. If we got anyone from Australia, happy Sunday, I guess, in like an hour.
Yeah, yeah, for real. Good day, good evening, and good morning to all you out there. We got a lot of good stuff to go over today. It will be a shorter episode. Not too much stuff, nothing really new per se. But man, I'm just frozen here.
You're moving on.
But regardless, let's get into it here. Let me get my screen going, and we will jump into some things. So one of the things that they did let us know in the most recent AMA was an update to the lore. And some of you lore heads back there, you might be a little upset about this, and I have the wrong screen as well. I don't mean to keep making you small, Dags, by the way. I swear to you. I swear to you. I'm trying to get
just get a screen share going and push us to the side.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm doing. If it wants to cooperate with me. But yeah, so an update to the lore. They're going to be taking a back seat as far as, pushing out the lore. It really isn't, to me at least. I know to some of you it might be, but to me it isn't that important of a feature. I think you're in the same boat. You're not crazy. I mean, obviously, if the lore comes, you might give it a read. You might dive into it a little more, but it's nothing that we're really waiting on the edges of our seats for, at least personally, not me. But how do you feel about the lore update here, Dags?
So for me, I'm most excited for the PvP and the combat, but that's only going to keep me going for so long. Like the things that keeps me coming back to games is lore, diving deep into like the characters and the history and like Final Fantasy games or Warhammer games. Those are kind of my primaries that I go to. And I guess Age of Empires, but the history for Age of Empires is just like, the history of the world. So it's not really, lore. But if they can put combat out, they can get PvP out, PvE out. But if the lore is not good, like PvE is going to be stupid.
Right.
And so I know they really, they're really pushing it. And they did say that they wanted to hire someone who has video game experience to write the lore. It's just really on the back burner right now.
Right.
They want to get this thing up and running. And it's like, how many crypto games are there that are just, just fun to play, but you don't know anything about the world that you're in,
Very
so
true.
But yeah, get the combat going, get the crafting going, get all that stuff going. But that's only going to take us so far because we need to be able to dive into this world. And kind of part of that was I was listening to ADFK. They had a stream, and they're just gonna like make their own game, and it's just gonna be like they're gonna start making their own lore for that game.
Yeah, so you mentioned this to me. So they're using if I understood you correctly, they're using the DFK heroes, but they're gonna make a lore on the back end of it. Is that correct?
Yeah. So like, go to, I can't remember if it's in the Crystal Vale Castle or the Serendale Castle, but there's just like a guard who like complains. Try clicking that guy on the bottom right. The next one, not the walrus guy. Him.
This one or this
one? Yeah, that one. Yeah. What does it say there?
This one. Look at how big.
There's one where it's like a guard who's just like, people just call me guard all day, like I have a quest or not. I have a name. Yeah, and so like they showed on the screen like an actual picture of like some art that they generated. I don't know if it was AI or not, but and they gave him a name, and they're like, yeah, this guy's gonna like recruit you and kind of walk you through the steps. And so they're just kind of bringing life in it. That's kind of where like their game's gonna start.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, they're tired of waiting, so they're just kind of going for it, and good for them, because it's like, what was the game? What was the combat game that you could win raffles from? That's not duels. What was that? Fight Club.
Right? Oh, right.
Fight Club just started as like a fan-based game, and then that ended up being the entire way that combat switched from a gambit system to kind of how Fight Club is, so that kind of laid the foundation now for combat. So who knows with these guys jumping in ADFK, like what if the lore they build does find its way into the game, or, will it be like Star Wars and Harry Potter where there's just a bunch of fan-made stuff. And then, the real company's just like, oh yeah, we're so big. we're not going to incorporate anything they do. None of it's going to be canon and stuff like that. So who knows? Yeah,
Right,
ToonFed,
right.
it came to me. Thanks, ToonFed. Let me know. It is. It's Fight Club. So
Yeah, it's a cool concept though. I mean, I like what ADFK is doing here because, and I don't know if this was in response to DFK putting the lore update on the back burner, but regardless, being able to, push, even if, like you said, it's a Harry Potter Star Wars-esque thing where it's what is it, fan fiction,
Yep.
they create their own stories and such. Even if it's something like that and the DFK team doesn't love it, that's still good content for new players to come in and kind of dive in if DFK is still waiting to bring the lore in. But maybe they love it. Maybe they're able to strike a deal with ADFK and make that their main line of lore. And one game specifically that comes to my mind now, I wasn't an early player in it, but League of Legends I loved to play for a lot of years, and I probably joined, I don't know, season 2, 3, 4, a few years after it really started picking up. And when I watched the history of the game, there wasn't a lot of lore initially. There was a lot of stuff like you said, like people kind of create stories, and maybe for example Riot Games in that situation, maybe they took some of those stories and used them because they people can tell a good story, and if it's relevant to the world they're trying to create, they can utilize it, and if not, they go their own ways, maybe choose pieces and parts. But that lore over there is a reason a lot of people think the universe is so wonderful. You know what I mean? I mean, the game itself is a rage-filled pool of degenerates, but that's another story. But the lore itself, they've created other games. Valorant, I believe, is a offspring of that universe. A few others. They have a card game. I think it's Legends of Runeterra or
they
something.
got a Netflix show.
Yeah, that is actually pretty sweet.
that-
Like, I mean, that is
I don't
also
know her
a
name 'cause I never
large
played.
game, but you can see what the lore has built it up into be. Like, that is a Netflix show. I couldn't remember if it's a Netflix original, but regardless, that is a show on these streaming services that they eventually got to. They are a large game, but still, I think the lore, whether it be on the back burner or not, I think it's really good what ADFK is doing, to be honest. I like to see that. But regardless, I couldn't find that guard. This guy is a quester.
I don't know. Maybe he's not in the castle. Who knows?
I'd have to go back and
But even if they write like lore that's not even used, I mean, I still think they tip their hat to people who do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm still convinced that if you switch over to the AVAX right now and you see that purple witch, like I'm still convinced that that's Isla from like the early days.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the purple hair, the what does she have, pigtails? I mean, they had a falling out, right? But I'm still convinced like they tipped their hat.
Right here.
I mean, that's got to be her, right?
Yeah,
even the name is close to Isla, right?
It's got to be. It's too coincidental. Yeah. But yeah, I was just here bridging over some stuff, which leads me to my next topic. I know I didn't really prep you for this, but you did give me the second summon of your Gen Zero, which, by the way, guys, we will be doing the drawing here later on in the episode, so stay tuned. If you're not around and you can't make it for the whole thing, I'll tweet at him, I'll DM you, whoever wins anyways, but stay tuned for that giveaway. It is, I'll showcase it here again, this uncommon that Dags, from his Gen Zero pair, the first summon, and the entry is closed, of course. Now I got the giveaways already, or the entries here already, but stay tuned. We, of course, will be doing some more, but you did give me the second summon as well. So I'm in the market for a Dark Knight 5/5 Gen 1. So I bridged a little over. I'm ready to buy one. And I wanted to just show you this before and get your opinion. There's two heroes that I'm considering buying for this beautiful, rare Paladin Berserker.
Can you zoom in a bit? It's kind of hard to see.
Yeah, on the hero roster.
All right. There you go.
I'm going to zoom out one. Yeah, so these are the two. These are not the two. These are to rent, and they are expensive. That's what I wanted to comment on. So the higher price for these ones, just to rent them, is about the same price of buying one. So to me, it doesn't make sense. I mean, they are legendary. Okay, sweet. But nevertheless. So the two that I was eyeing is this one right here, Muriel, Terran Moon. You get the primary and subclass potential, and you also get it with, I want to make sure I have the right one. Yeah, this guy, Mr. Flay. So the cheapest one actually on the board. You get the same thing, but the difference between the two, the main thing I'm considering, obviously not much crystal difference, about 100 or so. Yeah, 100, 120, 175, excuse me. But here is where it gets a little different. So obviously this one you have the Dragoon shapeshifter chance. But if you're looking at the actives and the passives, you're not really having much potential there.
Yeah, but who knows if the actives and or who knows if the advanced traits will be the play? Like, what do you? So
True. Let me show you
yeah.
the second one just to compare, because this is really what it comes down to is the actives and passives. And it's not a big chance, but I get the chance for Toxic. I do personally, this is all speculation. Morning Tipsy, morning Adventures. How you guys doing? Love to see you guys on a Saturday morning as well.
Speak of the devil and they shall appear.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. We just got off talking
here.
about you gents.
Your lore.
Yeah, yes, sir. We're really hyped for it, to be honest. But nevertheless, this is really what it comes down to, the difference here. Just a chance at Toxic. And also, I think Heal and Cleanse are going to be two pretty solid. I know this is ideally on a Dragoon, but if I'm going to, it's going to summon anyways. This one's got a 74% chance. Poison Blade ain't bad on a Dragoon either. So honestly, Dags, I'm leaving this up to you. I think you have a lot of intelligence when it comes to heroes and speculation. Which one do you think I should grab to summon with that Paladin?
I would need to dive in further than this to take a look. I mean, there's more to consider, right? Like your stat boosts.
True.
Right. What are we looking? Wisdom, intelligence. Wisdom might be cool for a Dragoon for like that defense against magic. Because I'm pretty sure that's what the white paper says. Like wisdom does for melee characters is it does like the magic version of endurance.
That's something I have to get more educated on because honestly, as you kind of saw my breakdown there, I don't really dive into stat boost too much when I look at it. It obviously is a great, another element to take a look at. Mm-hmm. Another thing I also didn't mention that I'm kind of considering here is the chance at getting a minor. Paladin, Dark Knight, Dragoon, my best chance over 74% on this one, 74% here. I get a 40% chance on the minor. And now fishing, foraging to have on it isn't awful. They're just questing. They're running it. But I do think having the chance at a Dragoon minor at a 40% chance is kind of tempting to me versus a 4% chance.
Most of my minors are running what are they called? The stat quests.
Okay, right.
They're not skill quests, are they?
No, like the crystal.
Yeah, I don't even. Yeah,
training quests is what they refer to them.
Yeah, training quests. Most of mine are running training quests anyway. So it's like I don't really care about profession anymore and that's one thing they keep pushing in the AMA is like these professions they make them sound like it's going to be like 5% of the content. Like you're going to be when PvE's out, when PvP's out. It sounds like that's where a bunch of your experience could come from, and that you don't even have to consider profession anymore. So like honestly, I'm loading up on gardeners. I don't care because I just throw them into training quests and I'm waiting for PvP, PvE.
Yes, sir.
But I mean, if you have the resources where you need miners, I don't need any more miners. I don't need any more gardeners. But yeah, I mean, if that'll help with resale, I haven't sold heroes in a long time, so I don't even know if mining on Paladin Dark Knight or Paladin or Dark Knight Miss, right? If you're going to sell it, how much does that help?
Yeah, right. I guess I'm not really considering selling either, to be honest. Most of these 5 summons from that 5/5/5/5 pair will probably be kept. Unless if anything, I'd burn them probably.
Yeah,
I don't want them because I'm a degen at heart, and I think you dragged me into the pits a few times here. But
I burned so many ninjas yesterday. I think I spent like 1,200 jewels or 1,200 crystals. No. I think I spent like 800 jewel yesterday just burning heroes.
Jeez, bro. Jeez.
No regrets.
Did anything good from it? I didn't see any
crazy. I got like 4 legendaries. I was just dropping uncommons, and like I was all ninjas, and like I got two legendary archers with efficient on them. And I just threw them up for sale. I'm not working on archers right now. And since I was gonna burn them all, I did the mortal sin, and I didn't stone any of them, because even if I got the mythic, I was gonna use it to boost the dark summon chances. So, but yeah, I mean, we could even do a YouTube video on just breaking down which one of these we want to choose, or About Life podcast, like those guys knock out. Like, if you want to talk about summoning, reach out to those guys, because they build crazy heroes.
Yeah, I see some of it coming through the pipelines over there. I mean, those dudes are crafting monsters, straight up. But I'll probably leave this for a little extra thought. Let me know if you guys have anything.
ADFK got rugged by the pit last night. Well, I'm expecting, legendary ninjas, and I'm getting archers. So it was like a 6% chance and a 9% chance to get those archers. But they were from uncommon and rares, so I didn't complain.
I mean, what do they say? The pit taketh and the pit giveth. So, it all comes full circle. I'm loving Tipsy's profile picture here. Wanted for 2.5K Jewel, the bloater with the top hat. I love it. Man. All right. So I just want to throw that in there. Sorry for the little surprise segment there for you. But
I love talking summons, though. So.
Of course. We definitely should do a little deeper dive. There are some great channels out there that we've already mentioned that do great stuff on summoning. But, it doesn't hurt to have more content out there about summoning
we could use that to transition into talking about, like, speaking of stones, lesser stones, whatever. They keep getting peppered in the AMA about how to create higher stones and higher crystals, right? Those regular and those graders. I'll push it back to like About Live podcast, or not About Live, ADFK again. They were saying maybe like an advanced stone carver on your land or something like that. The team is really pushing. They don't want to change the rarity of these things, right? It's hard to snag a greater stone on the decks right now, and if you do snag it, it's expensive. I found most of my luck going over to Sarandale and looking for a greater stone if I need one.
Right.
You got any input on that? Like, what do you think they should do? How should they come about with the greater stones, crystals, so that we can get them besides raffles, besides duels?
Right. Yeah. I mean, the one big thing when we were talking about this beforehand, what's up, Sus, by the way? How you doing today? Good to see you. But the one thing that we mentioned, or that you mentioned, that I thought was, pivotal for it, was the fact of keeping the rarity. You do have opportunities to get crystals in the training quests, like we said, but they're expensive. The greater and the normal version crystals and stones, they're expensive. You can craft the stones yourself, but that's the lesser version. So, to keep that rarity, I understand where they're coming from, and there probably is a lot of thought that's needed. So you make sure that we're not, creating something, a crafting or an alchemist version of, whatever you may have for the crystals and stones that is too cheap, that people are no longer factoring the lessers, or no longer using the lessers, or their floor just tanks. It is tough to kind of, I would imagine it's tough to kind of look at all those elements and then make a decision for the team. But I don't really have any pure speculation yet. I like the idea of doing it on land. I think that'd be pretty cool, and another feature that will entice players to get land. If you can, I don't know, spend a certain amount of jewel and place an advanced crystal maker or whatever have you on your land, and people have to come there, pay you a small percent or whatever. But we do need more utility for land, and I do wonder if things like this is where that'll come from. But I don't really have. Go on.
No, I was just agreeing with you. But I think it'd be a good idea to either have the materials from it, or I think it'd be a good idea to have the materials from it earned through a mix of PvP and PvE, and then some sort of like processing, right? Like a gem cutter, right? Mm-hmm. What if you get like that raw material, and then you have to have don't they have like I can't remember the professions right now. No, I was confusing gem cutters from that wizard game.
Oh yeah, I know you're
Cosmic Universe. That's what I was confusing. But what if you had like the raw materials, and then you had to bring it somewhere to get it cut? So that would kind of, and bringing it somewhere to get it cut could be like two either rent someone's character who can cut it, someone's hero who can cut it, or bring it to their land to get it processed. Because then you have your two kinds of players, right? Three kinds actually. You have your people who want to do the PvP, PvE, and then you have your merchants, right? Every MMO has its merchants, and they don't want anything to do with progressing the story. They just want to stay in their corner and flip goods. But if you had the materials come from PvP and PvE and then they had to be processed, that would kind of bridge that gap between the adventurers and the merchants. I think that would kind of be cool, but also you'd have to. How are they going to do it so that you can use land? And that might be where they're working in the rental system, because rentals came up again, which I could move into that, unless you
I'm
want to
open
talk
for
more.
anything. I mean, if it's related, I don't see why not. We couldn't talk about it. I mean, rentals is. This kind of brings me up to the one idea that I saw. I can't remember who brought it up, but some stream I was watching over the week, where they're building a bundle basically site for NFTs. Where you could put together, for example, 40 foragers and 40 foraging pets together, sell them all as one bulk buy. I can't remember the guys, and I do apologize, who was talking about this or who was specifically.
Yeah. Did I
But
see
it was
that?
a
Was
really
that
cool
like Christian
idea.
Peters talking
It might have been
about that?
KP. It might have been them, yeah. But it was a good thought, and potentially could have a lot of use for a site like that, where there are bigger players or just people in general who know what they want to buy and they want to buy a bulk pack at once, and you could just go on, instead of manually clicking through 40 plus foragers, you could buy a little bundle pack. So I think that'd be pretty cool. But
Yeah.
rentals overall is something that, Axie, of course, has I want to say it's scholarship or scholars program or something like that. And they have a lot of volume and a lot of, transactions through that rental system. From what I've heard, I don't play Axie, but, I've heard good things and bad things about it, which could play a factor into us, kind of take the negatives and see what we can do to fix those, and take the positives and use those. So kind of the good thing about coming, quote unquote, second, whenever I see the volume and GameFi volume and transaction volume and stuff on chain, it seems like it's us and them and a few other projects consistently. So it doesn't hurt to learn from your competitors, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. With the rentals, they got it down in the portal, right? You can rent someone's hero without any access to their wallet.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that's how it is with crafting, or renting someone's hero for PvE or PvP, right? You don't need any access to their wallet. It's just a smart contract. You have it, and that's obviously for PvE, what you want to put like a time restriction on that, right? Is until their stamina burns out or a certain number of hours or whatever. But that was another thing. That they brought up in the AMA, is they're really working on like on a rental system. Like was it Frisky who's like, oh, I even want you to be able to use hero rentals for duels. And I'm like, duels is just a pastime. I can't imagine paying to rent someone's hero for something like a duel. But
that's pretty interesting. I don't remember. I might have missed that part, but that would open up, to me at least, that idea opens up the idea of renting, hiring for PvP itself, which PvE could be maybe they stay away from PvP for renting, but PvE, if you're talking boss battles, you're talking big mobs, maybe going out finding somebody with a beastly dread that you could rent. Dreads might be expensive to rent, but say you need it for the boss battle, it's not a bad idea.
And it gives you a reason to level your crafters.
For sure.
So
so not a bad play there. I think that just about covers everything for stones and crystals. Should we move on here to the expedition level ups that you wanted to talk about here? Especially on what specifically you wanted to dive in about that.
So the expeditions just it seems like they want you. It just seems like batch processing, right? Like you leave your hero questing and they just keep accumulating their their experience and their quest rewards until you're done. So like there were kind of two ways that I was thinking, right? Like that when you complete the quest and it shows that screen of what you've got.
Yeah.
I was thinking either they're gonna, maybe one of the possible ideas is that screen is just there on your expedition, and whatever your quest rewards are, it just keeps ticking up until you're ready to pull that hero out.
Okay.
And you can see you have the experience bar, so that's constantly going, and the amount of rewards are constantly growing, so that you don't have to pull anybody out until you're like, all right, we're done. And or like another way I was thinking, like I have a cut that I play this game called Kenshi, where it's an open world sandbox, and you can literally just leave your hero mining a resource until you're ready to come back for them, and then when you're ready to come back, it shows what they've mined. You pop it into your inventory, and then you bring it back to your base where you can sell it or process or refine it.
Now, is that like a stamina based thing, or is that like unlimited time they're out there mining?
So Kenshi's just unlimited time.
Okay.
You just keep going. And I'm wondering, I don't know. I think we definitely need more information on the expeditions, but they keep they keep bringing it up, so we have to be close. And they wouldn't say too much about it, but I mean, I think it's really their plan to optimize gas. Is if you're getting killed on completing your daily, your quests 3 times a day because gas is so expensive, don't hit complete.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I think that's where they want to go with these.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're gonna get stuff soon because Magnus said he's got some combat things that need to be finished up, and then after that, he's moving into these expeditions. So
they don't stop, man. They just keep rolling.
Things. Yeah, that's 2 things to look forward to, right? Like he's holding up combat, so it's. And sorry if you guys can hear my kids in the background; they're playing Legos and yelling at each other. I don't know.
But yeah, I didn't mention you're traveling and stuff, so I was glad to be able to get Dags for an hour here or so today. He is traveling. I was gonna ask though, your background looks exactly the same.
So I'm still at home. We're leaving in about 2 hours.
Okay, right. That makes sense. So this was your only window kind of today to get it out of the way before you leave. So that's exciting though. I'm glad we were able to get it done today. But yeah, another thing we forgot to mention, I mean, just cosmetic, but I'm a sucker for the cosmetic stuff. I was just trying to get a few of these questing, and then it was bugging. Just to show the graphic, you know what I'm talking about when they're questing. I think it's super cool just to see, and again, could lead into something that we're talking about now with the expeditions. If they're gone for extensive amount of time, and say it is a day, a 3-day, a week-long thing. This is something when it loads that you can see that your heroes are questing. You can see that your heroes are out doing their thing. These are the foragers.
There we go.
The fishers right here. And imagine them say it's a land quest or something that you got to travel across sea, something similar to Perilous but different. Imagine them on a boat, just like sitting there, like looking over the ship into the water, and then that character is running on an expedition or whatever you may have. So I think little features like that just makes the game feel more gamely. And
I'm still kind of hopeful that they add your pet somewhere in that background of the card at some point.
Yeah,
that I would love to see that.
That would be sweet, and I think that's something they could do eventually for sure. But one thing again that they did mention in the AMA, a lot of this stuff that we're talking about is from the AMA. If you haven't watched it, definitely check it out from the main DFK channels and social medias and such. But another thing they mentioned briefly was the subnet stuff. For example,
we didn't talk about that, did we?
No, not yet. But we will. That's for damn sure. But yeah, so gas, like you said just briefly previously, it's been kind of crazy. I think it's gotten better the past few days, but the subnet stuff is interesting. It seemed like you had a better grasp on it, but it sounds like they wanted to potentially have a second AVAX subnet?
No, that's something that they were saying they could do. So
Oh,
you could
okay.
have like a subnet, and then you can have subsets of it, right? Like Inception, like a subnet within a subnet. So they were one of the they. I think ideally they want to open up on another chain. I think they said they want 4 chains, but um, they said there's a lot of capability on AVAX or Avox, however you want to say it. I'm going to say AVAX. That's what my accent allows me to do. Um, so what they could do is they could have like separate subnets where there's just a subnet dedicated to questing. So all the questing transactions would take place on that subnet. Now they didn't really want to do it. I think Dreamer said they would rather go on to another subnet just for exposure, right? Because there's certain tools on other subnets that we're not getting, on AVAX, right? Like, I mean, we have what is it called? What's the bridging, the token bridging program? Is that like
Synapse that we
Synapse?
use?
Yeah, right. Like Synapse that's a third party, right? That we wouldn't have access to if we weren't here. Well, what else is there on other chains that we would build into, kind of the underlying fabric of DFK? Um, and so he wants that exposure and exposure to other communities, right? So based off of what their talks, it sounds like, I mean, the most logical thing that's coming is going to another chain. But, we're really not limited by AVAX. If the other chains don't work out, we could do something like that, right? Where we just build other subnets. And most of it's just to avoid like catastrophic failures, like what happened at Harmony.
Right. Yeah,
So,
I think that kind of showed them how they need to play their game. They need to have backup plans. And I feel like as they progressed, they seem to be taking that mentality with everything they do. They inform us about it. They want to let us know.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, subnet inception hype for sure, Jameis, for sure. Yeah, they want to let us know and kind of reassure us that they're not going to make the same mistakes they may have made, and it not necessarily to fault them, but they're not going to make the same mistakes that they have in the past.
Yeah, and
What's good, girls? How you
it's all
doing?
about avoiding risk too. I mean, they said like even some of the reasons they won't do collaborations with other, or they haven't done any collaborations yet, is because that opens you up to risk, all the risk that your collab brings in, right? Like, what if they have a failure, and then part of your game relies heavily on their items? That puts you in a bad spot.
Yeah,
So
that could definitely be a bad formula and unpredictable as is for sure. Yeah, so definitely check out the AMA for more info about that. I'm sure that'll be a talking point going forward that they may briefly touch on in future AMAs. And if anything comes through the pipelines, we'll be sure to let you know as well. Excuse me. But
looks like you got Jill on what's it called over there?
Yeah,
Jill the
Twitch for
Thrills.
sure, for
Twitch.
sure.
There you go.
Love it, love it. How you doing, Jills? Good to see you. But yeah, so I think that was about every one of our main topics. Did I miss anything here? We had the lore update, the subnet stuff, expeditions, and then the higher stones and crystals stuff. Anything else we wanted to talk about?
I mean, I'm sure there's a ton we could talk about more, but we're already we gotta do this hero giveaway too. And while you're getting that together, yeah, I think we do the giveaway. What do you think?
Yeah, we can do the giveaway. It is ready to go too because I was not gonna go through and grab the drawings while we were streaming, but
yeah, for sure.
This is the hero again. Dags blessed the good people with his first Gen 0 pair, his new Gen 0 pair. He grabbed the second half of that recently, so he went with the summon here. Looking for pallies, but look at this little gem. An uncommon knight with a shapeshifter. Of course, you got the Gen 1, level 1, 10 summons on this dog of a hero. Wisdom, fishing, woodworking, the works. Lesser vigored and tier boosted up, so it's a good one. We did miss on these, but we got healed, poison blade, fearless, and headstrong.
Yeah, I wish it would have been the real thing was like, after we did that summon, it hit on 2 rares.
Yeah,
Right?
right after.
So, but I don't know.
Just how the game goes.
I'm tempted to give one of those away, but I gotta sell it to fund more dark summoning.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
My
no,
my 2-year-old's about to walk in the house too, so it's about to get real loud in here.
Oh, it's about to get rowdy. He's ready for the giveaway. We're gonna jump right into it. So we got 22 entries here. As long as you tag 3 people, I didn't check the other things because that's something you could do, down the road if you missed the follow or whatever, but no worries. I'm gonna run this now and let's see what we get. The winner is AA Free 60. AA Free 60. I will reach out to you on Twitter and give you your winnings, and then Dags will send it over here. Smash TG. I'm pretty sure I had everyone that quoted and tagged it within this morning, so I'm sure I got you on there. But AA Free 60, congratulations. We'll be sending that out soon. Good stuff. Congrats. As always, guys, definitely check out the YouTube. Make sure you subscribe so you can see when we go live. We've been trying to schedule them so you can see at least roughly the timing that we're going to go live. I know these first two streams back have been at different times, but we're just kind of finding our place. And if it's a weekend stream, we might have to stream at odd times just because of scheduling and everything like that. But
I mean, I always thought it'd be good to have a stream that you can, have a cup of coffee and watch in the morning, right? While you're getting going. So
I'm a big morning person. Are you, Dags?
Yeah, I usually get up at 6. I have no problem getting up at 5 either. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
So
another hour of sleep doesn't hurt, but I'm all for the coffee and chill, DFK coffee and chill streams for sure. So we'll see what we can do. If this is something you guys like, I feel like we got a good bit of the Aussie gang out here. I'm not sure if, some of
when we did the late night one, that's when we had the Aussie gang because it was morning for them.
Yeah, right? For sure. So, this is night for the Aussies then right now. This might be late. I'm not quite sure on the time.
Yeah, this isn't fair for them, is it?
Yeah, this ain't fair. But as always, you can catch the rewatch as well. Those will go live on YouTube. You do have to, just so you know. I'm trying to figure out if I can get it to show up in the video screen, but it comes to the live screen. So you can rewatch the first one here. You guys probably see as well, my camera is fucked. So I am like 5 seconds behind. I've been this whole episode. We're loving it. If it's like this again, I don't know. I might have to. I'm trying to get a camera here, a good one. So this is just my laptop integrated camera. So that's probably why it's bugging out. But yeah, I'm here. I'm just a little behind. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's about it. This was a great stream.
Thanks everyone for showing up. There is one thing I wanted to close with though.
Definitely.
I'm pretty sure it was Dreamer said that the only reason there's an AMA every week is because they keep getting quality engagement from the community, right? So people making content on like Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, people engaging in the AMA, people asking questions, people submitting AMA questions, people being active in the Discord. Like if you're someone who's kind of like on the fence about, like making content or jumping into YouTube, reach out to us. We could always throw you on the show, get you used to it, and then you can like bridge on to your own thing, right? Like they are active because of the community. And I think that's really like the only reason we get the open line of communication from the team is because, we feed on it. It's like we stopped doing Thursday nights because how many people stream on Thursday nights? Right after the AMA, there's so much content on those nights.
Yeah.
And they want that engagement. As long as they keep getting it, they'll keep feeding us. So I think that's kind of important.
Yeah, I think a lot of people appreciate that too. I've seen projects, I'm sure you have, I'm sure everyone else has, where, the updates start weekly, maybe bi-weekly, and they move to monthly, whether it might be like something you said, if there's just not that engagement, it doesn't seem like they need to push out an AMA every week, then they won't. But I think there is a lot of quality DFK content. I know one of our guys on Twitter, Jared, just started a channel as well too. So that's pretty cool.
Mention him.
Definitely check him out. And I think he's doing summonings, just all sort of DFK stuff, tons to do. Everyone's in their own lane. Everyone's doing some cool stuff out there. So check everyone out if you got some free time. Always some good talks going on in the space. But yeah, definitely look out for our next cast. I'll try to update everyone earlier too. I know we kind of were going in halfway through the week to try to find our time specifically when we could stream. I didn't get the tweet out till last night. So I'm still excited to see about 13 of you guys here live. That's pretty cool to see. But definitely check us out. We'll be live here again next week, hopefully. And that's about it.
Yep. If you're
Anything else
from
you
the
want to say,
U.S., yeah, if you're from the U.S., have a happy 4th. Stay safe. And
sure.
Thanks for showing up this morning.
Yes, sir. Have a blessed one, guys. Amazing to see you. And until next time, guys, we'll see you. Peace.